more or less everywhere you see on the fishery, I'm responsible for maintaining.
Okay. Is there? Do you manage? So you manage what's growing here a little bit.
Yes. So the fishery itself, as you'll see in a minute, a lot of my work during the summer is maintaining the paths, mowing the paths, maintaining the marginal fringes to the river, so making sure they're not too high that people can't fish over the top of them. There's periods where we cut the weed in the river with a scythe, so I'll spend a couple of weeks
in the river.
Absolutely, yeah, be in the river. So weed cut's a fantastic time of year to be a river keeper. There's no fishermen for 2 weeks straight, and everyone on the different estates up and down the river cuts the weed at the same time, so it's not interrupting other people's fishing because it all floats off downstream. So you get 2 weeks to spend in the river cutting the weed with your waders on, using a scythe, and it's a lovely time basically. It's hard work, and you literally are here. Even when it's a couple of weeks long, then you clear it all down, but you'll be here literally every day for those 2 weeks working in the river. It's hard work, but it's good fun. So they'll start right at the top of the river test, and the first river keeper essentially will send the weed down. He'll give a phone call to the next river keeper, who will then send all of that down, and then eventually I'll get a call from our upstream neighbours to say the weed's all with you now, and then I'll start clearing it down here. So
they send that down just manually with...
Yeah, so you use a weed rake basically, and you're a little bit like a shepherd, kind of shepherding all this weed downstream until it eventually reaches. There's a weed boom down at Great Bridge where they...
So what's a weed boom?
So that basically stops all the weed from going any further downstream, and the Environment Agency come and lift it out and take it away.
I see. Does that have an impact on things like caddisfly larvae and mayfly larvae?
It does. So you're basically walking a constant tightrope act between taking as little weed out as you possibly can, because as you say, like the caddis specifically, a lot of them specifically live on the weed. It's fantastic. The weed's fantastic habitat for a lot of the juvenile fish, salmon parr especially, juvenile salmon. It's a constant balancing act between removing enough that you are making sure the river's not getting choked with weed, that you've still got decent flows, that you're still clearing off areas of gravel that are going to be useful for spawning later in the year, and also that there's room for fishermen to fish, that there's places for fish to sit, and that you're basically trying to create as much diversity in flows as you can to create different habitats. So really trying to get that balance right is something that we try and do.
Mayfly 1. Sub imago. Tomorrow's dancer on the water's sticky lip, hurrying out of her husk, a lush fluttering as she struggles into late noon light, breaking all the knots, untangling from her own lost corpse its 5-point shadow, escaping into air, taking refuge in the willow. Not death, her shed skin carried by the river, not the shroud of Turin, despite its hollow cockpit of a face, its warped and eyeless goggles, but ephemera, exuvia, an unzipped dress of almost there silk, wet tissue shed instar after instar. Tomorrow she will come to the luminous core and dance with the others in fluid gold spires. Today she rests.
The fishing season, officially it starts on the 1st of April, but we don't actually start fishing here until the 1st of May. Just gives the river a little bit more time to recover over winter. A lot of our members aren't particularly interested in fishing that early in the year. It's a little bit tougher. So they'd much rather start once it gets a little bit warmer, and it suits me down to the ground having an extra month to prepare the fishery. So that's the first big marker in our year, is the start of the fishing season.
Right.
And then after that it's Mayfly.
Right.
So that will start round the 13th, somewhere between like the 9th and the kind of 15th. You tend to see your first Mayfly of the year.
Or April.
Sorry, of May.
Of May.
So there are other flies hatching before then, but it's the Mayfly that's really on the chalk streams is the holy grail for the fishermen. Really, that's when they want to be fishing.
And why is that so?
So it's a case of pure abundance as far as the fish are concerned.
Right.
That they're big juicy flies, and whilst there's not a huge amount around today, there's a lot of them hatching over a 2 or 3 week period. So the fish tend to go, at least to begin with, absolutely crazy for them. And it's known as Duffer's Fortnight, basically. So the fishermen, even if you're a duffer, you can catch catch fish during Duffer's Fortnight.
To Imago. If I spin for you, sun-glazed, glacade, swallow-tailed, if I spin through shining air, after years of working the dirt, grovelling in mud, endlessly bursting my shellacked seams, slough upon slough of my own dun skin, if I spin like a bobbin streaming, threading the updraft, swollen, iridescent, reeling, spin then fall, sailing on my own split tail, to reel again, a flare against the sun. Come you, will you come? Who said ecstasy must be prolonged? This is the sweet moment, this is the high note. If I spin for you, will you come?
It's 4 o'clock, and we had some sun, and the mayflies are indeed dancing. There's a little patch of long grass and thistles and sticky weed, and they've been going up from there. It's just starting to rain a little bit, so it's dying down, but they're ever so beautiful. They kind of flap up vertically very, very hard, and then just coast down like they're skydiving down, and the fish are jumping, literally. And they're all going up with their long tails streaming behind them, and me and James saw a couple mating, kind of biplaning along, or rather clumsily. They're very pretty. They kind of spread out their tail as they come down, so they've got this 3-pronged tail which they spread out, and I just wonder if that helps them as they come down, because it's kind of, they bring it in as they go up, twisting up, and then they spread it as they come down, and they go up and down.
Three spent. Her body's empty purse and draggled strings returned after its several transactions with the river. Her abdomen dipped to the surface of the water mid-flight, quick, as if it burned. The water takes her rushed deposits, the little gold that glitters, sifts through cooling depths, and in the sediment may hold, may hatch, may crawl, may feed, may fly. What survives is code.